What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Hitting the Bars. It's your girl, Savvy Wavy One, beside the fabulous Canadian girly, KOC. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Bentley just came into my room, so it
Mm-hmm.
made it even better. He
What a
works
fabulous day.
hours with me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I am like that dog mom that I feel like if I don't have him by my side, I will
Yeah.
be incessantly calling him. And recently, so this weekend, he was like, I think he walked somewhere and I was like, where are you going? And he's like, oh my God, you act like I am Bentley. Because I always am like, where are you going, Bentley? He's like, I'm just going to like go grab water. But I'm like,
Yeah.
but stay by me. Don't leave me.
Don't leave. Separation anxiety. We all have it.
Needy girl. I know. I just want somebody by me at all
Yeah.
times.
You know what? I feel that. I feel that. It's just like I'm just curious. You know what I mean? Anytime like, someone gets up, but at the same time, if I get up and do things, I'm just like, just let me be. Like I
Yeah,
don't know. I'm just getting up to grab something. This isn't like, are you stalking me? But at the same time, I do the reverse. I feel that's just that's being a girl.
absolutely.
That's being
Oh,
a
totally.
girl.
Because I'll be in like maybe our closet and Michael's like,
Hmm.
Sav, and he's yelling. And I'm like, oh my God, just give me 5 seconds by myself. But then if I do it, he's like, you're treating me like the dog. I'm like,
Hmm.
well, you
I think
know,
it's matter.
you're both my boys. What can I
True.
say? Right?
You're just interested. I want to know every single thing about you.
I know, right? That's literally, do you do this with Megs? Like, we know that Michael and Megs are similar on their
Hmm.
love for chess, right?
Yeah.
But like, Michael is somebody that is not a man of many words in the sense of
Oh.
like, I am an oversharer. I never
Hmm.
shut up. He loves that
Hmm.
about me. He says that.
Yeah.
He's like, that's my favorite thing is like, you love to chat and you're really friendly and things like that. He's friendly with friends, but like, I'll be like, oh my God, tell me about your day. And he'd be like, it was good. I'm like, what did you have for breakfast? What did you have for lunch? Like, when did you go to the gym? What did you do at the gym? Like, who'd you
Hmm.
see? Are you like that with
Oh,
Megs?
fully. I'm such a yapper and he's such a listener. So, AK, he just lets me yap. I don't know if he's
Uh-huh.
really a listener. He just lets me. And I feel that's every relationship because then situations where he doesn't want to be a yapper, he can just zone out, doesn't have to say a word. And you know what I mean? Versus I'm like, oh, da, 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 da. So that's like, and the flip side, I don't have to feel bad that I just told him a very in-depth story about my new pair of shoes that he couldn't care less about.
Literally. We were walking Bentley and he was like, I don't remember what I told him. It was a story that didn't matter. Of my childhood, I think. And he was like, how cool. That was his response. And I said, excuse you?
Cool.
How cool? In a mocking tone. I was like,
Hmm.
you're gonna lose the privilege of this yap. You have to sit in silence.
Hmm.
He was like, okay, how should I say? What should I say? So, but there's nothing better than when you have a friend that's an equal yapper. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I
Oh.
don't get along well with girls that don't yap.
Oh.
Like, I
Yeah.
can be near them, but like, they will not be my besties. I need someone that is just as like open about
Hmm.
everything and like yappy
Yeah.
as me. Otherwise, it makes me feel weird and like uncomfortable.
Yep. I feel like, because then you're like, feel guilty if you're like talking the whole
Yes.
time. And even though they enjoy it, you feel that guilt. I could see that. Yep.
Yeah. Or maybe more it's like I'll be like, so tell me everything about your life. Like tell me, I'm just like
Hmm.
curious on people's lives. And they take it as like me prying. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no, no, that's literally who I am. Like I like deep conversations immediately. Let's go.
Yeah.
And then I feel like they think I'm weird. And that's where I'm like, I feel like we don't
Uh,
mesh well.
I think it's just like people have those that like wall up that they think, like you said,
Yeah.
you're like taking notes, and it's like, no, I just want to like get to know you. Like what we say here, I think it's hard. Like you are so trustworthy, and like things you say, you do such a good job of holding on to and being a good listener. But like not everyone's like that. So I'm sure a lot of people are like, I'm not going to divulge this information with you. I don't even know you. But like once they get to know you, they're like, oh, I can fully trust. But in the flip side, you're just like, no, I just really want to like get to know you right now. I really enjoy you. I'm in your presence. I want to know you at a deeper level. So that's why you're amazing.
Oh, okay. Okay. That makes me feel a
Maybe.
little bit better if they don't like me
Yeah.
that way. But I guess. But
Maybe.
I'm also, in my mind, I'm not asking intrusive questions.
No.
I would never do that. I can read the room. It's more of just like normal things. Like I was thinking I was at a dinner the other day and there were these two guys and I
Hmm.
was just asking them questions. I have a lot of guy friends, right? Don't think anything of it. Just like, what do you think of this? Do you like this? Like, where are you guys from? Oh, okay. Do you guys have siblings? And like the way they were just so one worded, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go chat to the girlfriend. Like,
Perfect.
and she was way better. But I was
Good.
like, okay, noted, boys. Not my kind of boys. But
One
what
worded. There's a
do
lot
you
of guys
consider
like that.
yourself a yapper?
I do, except occasionally I will be so at the end of a very long work week where I'm just like mentally, I can't form thoughts. Like I've used all my creativity. Sometimes I'm like so empty minded, but that's why I also like my friends because all my friends are big time yappers. So every once in a while they can yap away and I'm like, give me 30 minutes and then I will be okay again. But like, you know what I mean? So there, and like, but for the most part, yeah, I'm a YouTuber podcast. I'm a yapper. I like to.
By default, you're a yapper.
I
That's
was like,
true. I feel like you couldn't really be a YouTuber without yapping.
no, fully. I was like, I get there's some people who are like super introverted and shy, and that's why they
Yeah,
actually like YouTube. But on the flip
totally.
side, like in my dream, there'd be 8 other people I could yap with on my YouTube, but it's just me and my camera.
Yeah. I think what's the weirdest thing, this is a little influencer tea, is like, I'll never forget. It was a few years back when we were in LA for a Gymshark event.
I
And
think I
like
know where you're
a
going.
lot of them were people, you think? I think you know who I'm talking about.
Oh no,
A lot of
I'm
people.
thinking about a different story. You go, but go.
Oh, I'm curious what your story was. But we were all like going to get dinner like at sunset. And it's so fascinating because it was right after COVID and everybody we had met. And of course, Kat and Ken are my close friends from before. I knew Alex from before, but there was a lot of girls I had never met, but I see them online, right? So usually when I meet somebody, I'm like, oh, like I remember I met Nikki Blackketter and I was like, oh my God, how are you and your boyfriend? She was like, how are you and your husband? Like, or
Yeah,
Wit was like, oh my God, when are you planning your wedding? Because it's like we see each other's stuff.
fully.
So we think like, oh, I already know this like past the surface level, even though you have never met. It's like the trippiest thing.
It's
And I
crazy.
remember one of the girls, I was like, oh my God, how are you and your dog? And like, how is this? And the way she was like not having this conversation, I was like, oh, but we know each other because I follow you. But then I realized she'd never
Yeah.
really met me. And it was just
Ah.
me seeing her story. So it was totally
Yeah.
fair for her to have her guard up. But I remember being like, okay, never mind.
It's such a weird dynamic. Like I've even ran into like subscribers on the street and they'll come up and like it's like a funny thing. So like I'm fully aware because I watch YouTubers like I've never met and like have no idea and like they'll start like talking they're like this is so weird that I know things about you. I was like I know the fact I'm 3D, I'm not 2D right now is really weird. Like anytime you see anyone online, especially because it's not just like celebrities now. Everyone like influencers, just regular people. And like for example, like how many friends you make online and you're good friends with and you talk back and forth and then one day you're like, oh, you're even like me and Megs met virtually. And the first time I met him, it was like, this is weird. Like you're actually real. You know what I mean? It's a evolutionary wise, we haven't caught up. So it's still weird. It's still a weird concept.
Yeah, it is very trippy, but I think it's cool because
Yeah,
I think I was just talking to somebody who I was saying I think Hollywood media is a little dead in the sense of celebrities are just not relatable whatsoever.
fully.
And I feel like they try really hard sometimes on their press tours to be so relatable. And you're
Yeah.
like, Katy Perry. And you're like, oh, no, no. Where I think a lot of influencers, like girls that I love to follow, like Avery Woods and things like that,
Yeah.
like, I'm like, oh, I would geek out if I met you because to me, I think you're so cool and like idolize it as if it's a celebrity where I don't necessarily do that anymore with celebrities.
Yeah, you support the celebrity, you just like whatever they create and you love the song, you
Totally.
love the music, but there's like a separation between them as a person versus like influencers you just genuinely like and even if they get really big and semi-unrelatable, there's always semi-relatable. Like I was even thinking about this Molly May. I was watching her YouTube the other day and like even though she's worth so much money now and she's such a big deal and she gets like paparazzi'd and everything, she was just chilling at home since being like, I don't know which candle to get, but this one's a little cheaper. I'm gonna grab this one. I was like, she's just one of us.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
She's like at the end of the day, like even though she's grown, like versus I feel sometimes celebrities like it's we can't even fathom. Like they have an assistant and an assistant and a tour manager and this manager and that and like this is dealt with and it's just like they live on a different world that like
Yeah.
it's just
And
a different world.
I think now time has changed to where they have to give you more of their person, their who they are in a sense. Not that they're entitled to do that, but like I think they will be very successful if they show more of who they are because people are looking for that humanizing factor. Like
Definitely.
I think of this like I don't really follow a lot of celebrities. I obviously follow Selena Gomez and Taylor Swift, obvi, right? But I love when Selena posts like a normal thing. Or like I follow Kelsey Ballerini and Chase Stokes because I think they're the cutest couple. And they're so good at just like posting when they're in scrubs, being cute together, like no makeup on. And I'm like, it makes me like them more than if she was just to constantly post like these polished, beautiful paparazzi photos.
Yeah. It just like you said, it makes like their lyrics mean more because like you're like, oh, this is actually coming from a person. I think like not to blame AI or anything, but I think we're just craving a bit more because anyone can make a song, plug it into ChatGPT. So if you're just like, it's like pretty image and there's no connection, like it's kind of like what's the point of listening versus like you want to hear like, oh, that song is about Keltie and Chase and they did it. So I feel it's just consumer things are a changing.
Yeah, for sure. You want to get into your first hot take?
It actually talks about changing in influencers. We just hyped up influencers. Now I'm going to take it away. I'm going to stay away from LA influencers from now on between November and March, and I'm over it. Now, I love my LA influencers. They're the cream of the crop, best of the best. But stop telling me to wear UGG shoes and wearing cute outfits in the middle of January that I'm influenced to wear and are so unpractical. I need to find, it's not that I'm not actually going to follow them, but I'm just like, I was realizing this. I was watching a lot of like fall, winter trends, and I'm like, oh, this is cute. I'm seeing these outfits. I'm like, I live where it's either minus 30 Celsius or pouring rain. I cannot wear a cute little pair of Uggs. That won't do it. My feet will be soaked. I will literally get hypothermia. So I was like, I'm like, LA influencers, you got to stop telling me how to dress for the winter. I'll come back in the summer when you got cute fits. Great. But right now, us northern folks, we need to dress practically.
From the north. Yep. No, that's actually a very valid point of like, did you ever growing up in high school watch like shows like Pretty Little Liars and like it'd be winter and they'd be wearing like the cutest little outfits?
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I'm wearing a puffer and a scarf and a beanie and then like a North Face jacket and some yoga pants every day.
Yeah.
Every damn day. I'm lucky if I put on like not a sweatshirt. So I get it where you're like, the weather does affect you so much. And as cute as it is, you just kind of have to be practical.
It's like, I just need to find a few more of the practical girlies that or live a lot more north. Because I think it's so much we consume and like trend wise is like girls who are in the Parises, the LAs, the New York, which are all still like Paris and New York definitely get crazy weather too. But I'm not talking minus 30 northern Sweden and pouring rain Vancouver. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, I need to go where it's like, this is not for an Instagram photo. I want to know how to look cute. But don't tell me Uggs are practical. Because they're only practical to like minus 10 light snow. And then they are a death machine.
Totally. I feel like even when I was in Paris last year, I was there around this time. It was so cold. I wore a puffy jacket every single day with multiple sweatshirts. And like I only had traveled with 2 different shoes and I wasn't going to wear heels throughout the city. So it is like as beautiful as I would love these Parisian outfits. I didn't have them. I wore very basic, American outfits because I was cold and I didn't want blisters. So sometimes it's not as Emily in Paris as we'd like it to be.
No, I need to find that Parisians and the Londoners that dress practical. And you know what I mean? Like there's a couple, I need to find those accounts because there's some Parisians, obviously they dress practical, but there's some that are just dressed for the photo. And I'm like, don't tell me you're walking around for more than 10 minutes in that outfit. It's cute. I'm jealous, but I will wear that in August and September, not February.
Yeah, totally. Where catch me in February, I will be in a tank top.
I will save this for a later time. For right now, not going to work.
Feel free to harass me at a later time being like, your shit's not relatable. It's hot still. It does get a little cold. I do like to wear a light sweater at night. Sometimes if I go outside.
Ooh, crazy.
A little chill. A little chill. That is the one weird thing about living somewhere humid and tropical is you don't ever notice you need a jacket. I'm someone that gets cold really fast. And so I hate that I always have to think to bring a jacket in Seattle or California also super cold. Like I think it is definitely colder than it looks on shows and movies. And I would always be annoyed that I had to bring a puffy jacket. Here, you never think to do it. It is the weirdest thing when your whole life you've known, oh, let me bring a jacket. Here, it's
Fully.
like, it's a jacket already in the humidity.
Yeah, you're good. But then every once in a while, the humidity comes at you, and you're just like, oh my God, it was warm 5 minutes ago, and now it's freezing just because the sun's gone. It is crazy. It is crazy.
Yeah. Okay, it's a good hot take. Mine
What
is,
about yours?
okay, I'm over fake nails for the moment, okay? And you
Love.
guys know I've been doing the press-on lifestyle for quite a while. But let me tell you, I bought a gel kit like maybe a year
Nice.
ago, and I could not for the life of me figure out how to paint my nails and have it stay. I just realized I had shitty gel from Amazon. So I bought like a blue kit
Oh.
just because I wanted blue nails. And the gel is amazing for anyone watching it on YouTube. I give
Ooh.
myself a little manicure watching Emily in Paris. It's maybe 3 days in. Phenomenal. You would think
Oh,
I went and I paid $50 for this manicure. No, bitch. I just bought it on Amazon for $12 and probably $12 more dollars for the polish.
I need that. I need that. Because, like, I just get, like, the gel on my nails. Like, they're my real nails. But still, the process of going to the nail salon and just sitting there and I'm like, ugh, I got better things to do. Better things
Oh,
to
you
do.
should definitely then buy it.
Ooh.
Because
I think
I
I'm
mean,
gonna.
love fake nail press-ons. That was like my start of like, I don't want to pay for nails anymore. And also, it's just so time consuming. But once you start and figure out how to do gel nails yourself, you could do it with your girlfriends. But like, I saw this blue on my friend, loved it, bought it for $10, a pack of 6 gel. And you could like really do your research on which gel is nice. And then I just use the UV light. So it's not like I have to like sit there and let it dry. I just pop it under. I wear a little sunscreen on my hands. And I'm just telling you, I literally haven't been using my fake eyelashes, my fake nails. Like, your girl's a changed woman
I love it.
off
Can
of
I
laziness.
can I tell you some insider baseball about
Yeah.
your color blue? I know 2 very popular brands. I can't say because I'm not actually supposed to talk about it, but just 2 very popular brands. I saw their color palettes and I saw what's getting released in both winter and summer of next year, and they're heavily on that blue. So that could be the new, like, you know how like right now it's burgundy? That potentially could be the new thing because both of those brands, they're big brands, like what their upcoming ones are. So
Wow.
So,
So you know
just
what? All you
you're
bitches
ahead
that
of the
tell me
trends.
I'm behind the trends, I'm ahead of the trends. I didn't even know
Yes.
burgundy was a color. Like as in a popular nail color right now.
It's I'd say it's the color of fall. Burgundy this year. It's like if I had, you know,
Really?
there's always a color. Burgundy's having, oh yeah. And next is chocolate, but like look at any trend girly, like it's specifically it's like the burgundy accessories are like that deep cherry red, but that was more last year. It's definitely burgundy's having its moment. But I love that because burgundy for me is like a timeless fall. Like it's like one of those things you can get, and like it was fun because like I dressed in all, I wore burgundy leggings, a burgundy sweater, and burgundy hat under like a big gray blazer yesterday, and like the Aritzia girlies complimented me. They're like, I love your outfit. I was like, yeah, because I'm wearing
Love.
burgundy. That's 5 years old because burgundy's always in fall. So I
I
was pretty
love
proud of
that.
myself. The Aritzia
Yeah.
girls comment, I'm like, oh, I nailed it. I nailed it.
Yes, that's if Aritzia like compliments you and they're
Yeah.
not trying to get you to buy something, that means you nailed it.
Hopefully, if you're trying something on and they're complimenting, sketchy
Yeah,
commission.
absolutely. So I need some advice.
Ooh,
Do you
tell.
think with the gel nails? Because it's been on my mind lately. I'm thinking of buying a new color palette of black. Do you think it's too emo of me? Too happy bunny? Early 2000s?
I mean, that look is in. Like, you know, I mean, silver jewelry's back in, black. Like, you can definitely do it. And do you like how your nails look with it when you have black nails?
Well, I haven't painted my nails black since I was in high school. But yeah, but I'm a
And as long
neutral
as-
girl, so black goes with it. But I also live on a tropical island where I wear colors because, like, when I go out, I don't know.
I mean, you're coming to visit. I know you're coming up north. Why not you get, like, just go get the black nails or like a really deep color nail when you come or something, when you're like fully somewhere where the dark
It's
colors are
appropriate.
there. Yeah. there's an idea. Instead of like buying the full one, then you get to sample it, see if you like it, and then if you don't,
I'm spending
it's
more
true.
money going to
True.
get them done.
Can you return? Can you try it in return?
Return it at the
Okay.
nail salon? Oh, you
Actually,
mean on Amazon?
like,
No, that's gross.
I have an idea.
What?
You know, if you go to like Walmart, they have like the sample ones. Just like put it on and see if you like how it looks.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just do it and like quickly wipe it off. Like make sure you have like the alcohol wipes and wipe it off real fast. But just to see if you like it. I'm trying to think of ways you can see it before you commit. Because it could be a vibe, but you could also be early 2000s emo very fast.
I know.
It's
that was my
50-50.
vibe back in the day because it was all Seattle gloom.
Right? Embrace it. Try it.
Okay. Okay.
Do
I'll
it.
think more on
Worst
it.
comes to worst, it's nails. It's not that deep.
Never that deep. And they peel off in like a week.
There you go. So you know what? If the worst comes to worst, we've all done it. You got a nail color and you hated it. And you're like, this is 1 week of my life. I'll be okay.
Uh-huh. Exactly. Remember that, ladies, when you go to the nail salon and you hate your nails, it's such a short blip of time.
Yeah. And just embrace it for while you can. We all do it. About 2 to 3 times a year, you'll hate your nails. And just embrace it.
Absolutely. All right.
Well, and speaking of fall, we just thought some healthy habits, especially fall seasoned. I love fall because it's like the real it's like back to school, back to work. Like January 1st is cool. Don't get me wrong for like New Year's resolution, but you're like in the thick of it. You're like, I'm so far away, but this is like fresh new start and kind of maybe like finish off 2024 strong because we're about 3 months away from New Year's and you might have some New Year's resolutions that slip through as we all do. And so we're just going to hop back on the horse and get to them. And so here are 5 that we're implementing right now. Do you want to start it off with your number 1?
Okay. Actually, you started off because I need to pull that.
Sav is loading. I'm just going to start off with a basic, and it's obnoxious and you've heard it, but it's a nice reminder, and it's the best in the fall, in-season fruit and vegetables. Because I feel like eating fruits and vegetables is being boring, but something when they're like super seasonal, first of all, they'll be probably more local, easier to get organic, local ones, which are more nutrient dense and cheaper. So that's a great thing about eating seasonally, but also it just like fits the vibe. Like a pumpkin in the middle of April doesn't hit as well as something pumpkin flavored in October. So I just thought I'd mention some things that are in season that like next time you're at the grocery store, pick up and then try and base the recipe around that. That's how I like quote unquote eat healthy. In like I just think of like what's in season, and then when I go there I just try and get a bunch of those fruits and vegetables, and then it kind of helps be like force me to try new recipes because I'm like, oh, I have all these tomatoes, all these, blah, blah, blah. But here's some ideas of some things that are in season, more specifically Canada. I'm sorry, my Americans, but you can do this thing called Google, figure it out. Is apple, plums, pears, grapes, nectarines, figs, blackberries, raspberries, strawberries, artichokes, Brussels sprouts, corn, eggplant, green beans, hot peppers, parsnips, peas, bell peppers, and of course, winter squash and pumpkin. So next time you're at the grocery store, if you're up here in Canada, consider grabbing a few of them.
Wow, I love that. Sounds delicious for my seasonal girlies. Okay, well, mine is, so guys, I know I live on an island, but I am having a trip coming up in Washington, and I am a Washingtonian, okay? So I have some experience with some fall weather, and what I love during fall is going out for daily walks. I feel like summer, everyone's like, it's too hot. Maybe everybody's out and about, they're traveling. This is kind of like the time, hunker down, stop, quit your complaining, put on a vest, put on a puffy jacket, and just like go get fresh air. And like fall is beautiful because it's like right before it's extremely cold, right? So it's like, it might be a little uncomfortable, but you could definitely go for nice long walks. You could get like a little pumpkin spice latte with your friend, take your dog for a walk because it's finally not too hot for them, and just get that like natural light. And I just personally, for me, when I go visit my mom in Washington or anywhere that's cold, I just try and go for walks every morning because it's like, why not enjoy it now before it's 30 degrees out or even colder, right?
I love it. Great hack. Especially like considering it a vibe versus being, oh, it's colder to get outside. Like it's just a fun perspective to look at it.
And it's like you can step on the crunchy leaves. Everything's
so
beautiful.
Nice. So nice. Speaking of going on walks, I just thought I'd give a tip because some people ask some questions about this, is if you're someone who gets blisters, so you might get a new pair of running shoes, a new pair of walking shoes, and there's 2 things you want to look for to make sure your socks are good socks, because that's usually like the shoes impacted a bit, but it's mostly the socks. And one, you want to make sure it's sweat wicking, because if it's not a sweat wicking or a cotton sock and you're walking long distance, like it will just like hold the sweat there, which can cause friction. And two, you want to make sure you have a snug, so it's going to stay in place, but it's not like tight or circulating, because that's the one thing. If like a sock's too big and it's like rubbing and causing friction and wet, that can definitely cause blisters. So there's just a little tip for you might be switching into your winter shoes and all that, and so just make sure you have a sweat wicking, well fitted sock. It's simple but effective.
Do you have any specific socks?
They're worth every penny. You just need to own 7 pair of Lulu socks, and those things will last you for, I think I only have like, actually I have more than 7 socks, but really I just like for years have lasted off. Every time I have a gift card to Lulu and there's always that random like $20 left over, I'd buy a pair of socks. And after several years, I was able to convert my whole closet to Lulu socks for working out, and they never get holes. They just like wash them once a week, never give blisters, so comfy, last forever. Versus like anytime I buy a cheaper pair, they get holes so fast. It's like, it's significantly different. But once again, buying $20 for 1 pair of socks is crazy. Black Friday's coming up. Great. Also an amazing Christmas like gift stocking stuffer, because like $20 gift is cheap, but like $20 pair of socks is nice to have. So that's like what I love to gift people. And then slowly over time accumulate. You need to treat yourself. You know, you've had a really good like month at work, $20, new pair of socks, and they're worth every penny over every other brand I've used.
I have to check those out. They sound awesome.
I have them on my feet right now. Actually, they're always on my feet, except sometimes I'll wear the aloe ones, but those are just purely for the look. They're not as practical, gonna be honest.
Yeah. That's like, I feel like when you have something that mundane, like something so like, I don't want to spend money on it because it's socks and who cares about socks. But then when you have like a luxurious experience, it makes it worth it. Like I'm like I don't care about like nice towels or nice sheets. I never have cared, right? Years ago, let me tell you, I did a collaboration with, oh my God, I was just looking them up. They're like Oprah Winfrey's favorite sheets.
Is that Cozy Earth?
Cozy Earth.
I hear that ad all the time.
Absolutely, right? And you're like, there's no way that these are this amazing. They just have like a lot of budget for their ads, right? No, they sent me a pair of like king size bed sheets. And let me tell you, Michael and I love these sheets so much that Michael's like, I need to buy another pair. Because we flip flop between like a Walmart version and this. And it's like so luxurious. And so I was like, okay, let's go buy it. Like $320. Is that, he's like, is that expensive for sheets? I think that's expensive.
For a whole thing? I feel it's not like
just like bed sheets, not like a duvet cover with it.
Oh, so just the sheet. Oh, yeah. Because I'm like comparing it like Brooklinen, which I feel is like I have Brooklinen ones, which I'm like, ooh,
I like them too.
Pricey.
Yeah.
But those I would like, you can get a full package, like the whole set for like $200, $250. But that's like the duvet cover, the bed sheet, the pillows. So to put into context, it's like twice the price of Brooklinen.
Yeah.
But
like the way
good enough for Oprah.
Right? They like rock my socks. No pun intended with your socks. Because we just love it so much. And like it's been 2 years maybe, and they have not lost their softness. Like it's amazing. And so Michael was like, I'm going to splurge. I'm going to get us another pair. But then he realized there was like 7 different options. And he was like, I want to be able to feel this. I'm like, I don't know when you're going to be able to feel this, but it's something like socks where you don't think about it. Sheets, you don't think about it. But when it's a luxurious, like cozy thing, you're like, this is worth it. Like I will spend the $300 because I know it will last me years. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
I think we're at that stage in life of like once you suddenly start having like a bit more money, you're not just trying to get by like your early 20s, is like you realize like how much money you spend on those things that only last a little bit versus like that doesn't mean like everything you have to buy, but like I'm smart now. Like I'm on like a no spend month because I know Black Friday and Christmas is coming. So I'm like, anything I need to buy, I can survive probably without it. So I'm just making like a list in my notes. And every time I run out of this product, I'm like, okay, Sephora sale's coming, this sale's coming. So I'm just like saving up knowing. And just because, like, for example, good sheets, I never spent any money on, but now that I have like nice ones, like they get better with time. Like every time I wash them, they get even comfier versus like anything I had in the past. Every wash, you were like, this might be the last wash, but you have to do that. It's just like different stages of life, and you have to be a bit more financially aware. Like I feel like you have to plan things to pay for these things, but in the long run, oh, they end up being so worth it.
Yeah, I agree. And also, hack on the socks. They may not be Lululemon, but what I do, because I don't have that in on the island, is if I'm ever running out of socks, and I go through 2 pairs a day because I like will go work out, or sometimes 3 because then I'll go walking with friends, and it's just so humid and sweaty here. So I need a lot of ankle socks so I don't get blisters. And I go to TJ Maxx, and or like a Marshalls, and they have always them on sale, and I will buy Champions, which I love. They're super cushiony, sweat wicking, like on sale for like $5 for a bundle. Or Nike. Love. I buy a lot of Nike. I have black ones, white ones, all at TJ Maxx. And if you look hard enough, they'll already be, you guys know, with my TJ Maxx thing, I will only buy at TJ Maxx if it's already discounted again. And so I will always find socks there that are really good. But they're not, like they definitely will wear out. So they're not as luxurious as your Lulu ones for sure.
It is crazy. Like I have 2 and like the same model, 6 years old, still wear them. So like that's why I was like, it's like once you buy them, you have them. Versus like my Nike ones, which are still good, like a year, maybe 2. So yeah, there's just that's how I have all Lulu, because every year or 2 I buy a new pair, and then like over time I'm like, oh, they're all Lulu. So yeah, didn't happen overnight. I didn't decide to go one day and be like, I'm gonna drop $200 on socks.
Totally.
No.
Yeah.
Your next habit, hit us up.
Okay, so I feel like fall, this is the one thing I remember the most with fall is like how it gets dark, at least in Washington, I'd assume in Vancouver as well, at like 4:30 p.m., right? Like it starts to get quite dark. And I just feel like that can mess with your sleep schedule and your sleep cycle. So just make sure no matter what, even if you're cozying up, maybe watching a little bit more Netflix because it's so dark so early, just make sure you're getting that appropriate amount of rest. And like maybe set an alarm. Like Michael and I will set a specific alarm. If it's after 9, we'll be in bed, and then we'll be asleep by 10 no matter what. Here it's pretty much the same time always. It's like 6:30, and then when everyone falls back, we stay. So really it doesn't mess with me, the sunlight, but I do just in general, even when I'm traveling, try to like stay on top of getting that appropriate, usually like 7 to 8 hours, because I feel like you'll kind of fall behind and it'll mess with you and your cycle.
We will talk about that on the podcast in a couple months when I'm where it's 3 hours of sunlight. So we'll talk about some hacks when we're in the thick of seasonal depression. So if right now you're
Sweden?
Like, what do I do? Yeah, and when I'm in Sweden, I only get 3 hours of sunlight.
What's the time you get sunlight?
Usually the sun rises at 11 and then it sets around like 2:33.
I had no idea.
Yeah, no, I don't but I don't get sunlight because I work those hours. So like I try and like sneak out at lunch, and yeah. So
oh my gosh, I had no clue that Sweden only got that.
Not all of Sweden, because once again, Sweden is like super skinny and long. So like it's the same length almost as like half of America and Canada, but like it's tiny. So it has so many different so down like in Malmo in southern Sweden is like Vancouver, Washington. So like it's the same kind of hours. But when you go to the northern, like we're not super northern, but we're still on the northern part of it. The most northern gets none, like absolutely no sunlight. But it's cool in the summertime. You only like the sun doesn't set pretty much.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Pros and cons.
Wow. More you know.
So speaking of, sleep, or actually, is it you or me now? Me, yes.
You.
Third, this. Maybe people don't care about this, but I didn't realize how much anxiety this gave me until I did a whole series and I tested new fitness trackers. And so I was testing a whole bunch of new ones. So I wasn't like super comfortable and have all of them like perfectly set to me at the start. And so they were all vibrating. So I had like the vibrate on, like a text message come in and the little vibrate, get rid of that. Oh my God. It was like night and day. I took off all the vibration alarms on my Apple Watch, and like just that anxiety constantly of like I don't think that's good for us. Just like, even if it's a text, it's just like whatever you're doing, like it's just like cutting your attention. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you're doing something and like you're forced to, and like now I still get the notifications that pop up, but like I don't think anything is that important for the most part. Like your phone vibrates, but like I just remember how jumpy I was all the time just because that little vibrate on my like, and I was so just attention, this and that and this and that. And so I'm vibrate notification completely off. So there's my little tip.
Oh, I like that idea. Because you're totally right. Maybe just turn it on when you are like, because sometimes I'll use my Apple Watch. Say I'm in Pilates and my handyman is messaging me being like, can you tell security to let me in? That's like when it's nice because then I'm not missing his call. So I guess you could turn it on if you like maybe are expecting something and then keep it off if you're not.
There's you can also just put it on like theater mode, which turns off all notifications. So like sometimes I just always have it on theater mode, and then when I know I'm expecting a call or something, I just turn it off theater mode, and then it comes through. So there's another little idea for you.
You know what I really hated with the Apple Watch is when it's like time to stand. I hate that.
The Aura Ring doesn't even like does it too, and like it tracks, and like I'm like I am standing, but just because I didn't get up, like sometimes it doesn't track it right. So like I just Apple, I love you, but the stand is a little mean and unnecessary.
Extremely unnecessary. Like, I'm going to go stand for like 2 hours. Just hold your horses. I'll get my time in. Just wait.
Just breathe. Just breathe, Apple. Just breathe.
Yeah. It's basically saying you're a piece of shit every time. Yeah. And I'm like, nice. Thanks.
Thanks, Apple. Thanks. I feel really good about myself now.
Exactly. Okay. Well, mine is I feel like, at least with a lot of the people that I train that do live somewhere a lot colder, is that the number one thing they always say is like they lack exercise during this time because of course it's colder, you want to be cozier. I remember back in college where I lived in a town that was snowy all the time. Like it was so hard to not just be like, I'm just gonna go home, eat some soup and like watch Jane the Virgin in my bed, right? So this is like a huge tip for me, and a habit that I've always tried to stay even in college with that is just exercise consistently. I remember what I did because it was so dark and cold all the time, and I would be in class and then I would work and then I'd be out and I would walk immediately to the gym in the dark. Like, thank goodness it was a safe town, right? I was so oblivious back then. But I'd put my snow boots on and my jacket and my snow gear, and I would bring my clothes to the gym, and I would purposely take classes that like I paid for. And it was actually like in college, it was quite affordable. I think it was $50 for the entire semester. And I would take spin classes. Yeah, it was very affordable. And I would take a spin class, a yoga class. I remember I bought one to take like a 7 a.m. yoga class. I think I went once because it was so cold all the time. Classic. But like, I was like, I'll trick myself that I'll go. But just try something new. Maybe hot yoga if it's really cold all the time. That'll make you feel good. Sweat it out. Or even like come up with an at-home strength training session where maybe you find somebody you love on YouTube or whatever it is that kind of keeps you going. But I just know there's always going to be a shift of like having to do your workouts indoors and it's cold and maybe people are at the pub and you want to go. And just like find that little hack that will get you there. Because I remember it made me so happy. I would walk there with my snow gear on like a lunatic. Like nobody would do it with me. I just was like, I know this will be nice. It'll pass time. And then I can go home and I can make my soup and watch Netflix and like go swimming or whatever it may be and just dry off and then go back out.
I love it. Such a good one. My next up is this little stat that's been going around the internet, and it's that 95% of people don't sprint over the age of 30. Now, I've tried to like get the premise because this is one of those stats that's like everywhere. I can't get to the bottom of like this study, so it could also be a little hogwash. But at the same time, I do believe it because I just think of like how much I used to sprint when I played sports, when you had gym class versus like over the age of 30. Unless you're chasing after kids, like you have to deliberately, there's not a time that you're like, oh, 0 to 100, just sprint. And so like I do believe it, even if it's not perfectly that stat. Like it definitely, we don't sprint like we did as kids. But VO2 max training is like one of the indicators for longevity and health. So a healthy habit I like is there's that like 4x4 by Peter Attia, like go 4 minutes full out, rest for 4 minutes, repeat 4 times, and do that like once a week. And like just doing that will increase your VO2 max. But even if you're like not wanting to do that, I would just say like for a total of 10 minutes in the week, have gone your full out. So that means like sprint whatever your sprint. Like for some people, their top max might not be a full sprint. It might just be a very fast jog for like 10 seconds. That's add that up. And then like try to work your way up to like 10 minutes for the whole week. So do like a couple seconds on Monday. Like ideally you're getting to these thresholds of like sprinting for 30 seconds and all that. But a lot of people, you're still in your zone 5 without max out sprinting. Like you have to play it. So like start out small, but just try and incorporate some sprinting and like getting to that zone 5 and bringing your heart down. So it's not just like going up there, it's like resting yourself, getting back to 0 and bringing yourself back up. And that's how you can kind of work on your VO2 max training.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. You wrote in your notes 95% of people don't spring after age 30. And
Typo.
when I saw that, I was like she's saying we're not spring chickens? Like she's saying we're just done after 30?
It's over.
I was
It's all
very
downhill.
curious to know what it was that you said.
No, but it's, I like out of context. 95% of people don't spring after age 30. Get 10 minutes a week.
Right?
What is spring?
I know. I was like, jump rope. I was really trying to figure it out.
Jumping? I mean, jumping, we probably don't jump either. That's a good thing to work on. Add that to the list.
True. Get that little mini trampoline. It's supposed to be great
yeah.
for your lymphatic drainage, your ankle support.
All the above.
Yeah. All right. Mine is boost your immunity. I think this is enough said. But you guys, like, oh my gosh, I feel like fall and winter is when you get sick the most. Once again, when I was in college, I was so sick all the time. My dad and my stepmom had to trick me to go get a flu shot. So like, because they're like, please, we're so tired of you being sick all the time. So just trying to like, just add, vitamin C rich foods. There's a lot of, you can do oranges, you can do spinach. That's supposed to help with your immune system. Just try to keep it up during this time because your body's going to be colder. It's going to be so much harder to fight off whatever it is if it's already in some stress, if you're maybe walking to work in the cold or whatever it may be. So yeah, I mean, even me on an island, everybody will come back. Like a lot of people here travel constantly, right? So they come back and they bring things with them. Like we recently all got over the fall sickness, even though we were on the island and like there's really not that much here, right? Like one of my friends just had strep throat because she was somewhere cold. And I was like, stay away, stay away from me. But yeah, boost your immunity, guys.
Love it. Love it. And number 5, we're going to talk about eye health and the 20-20-20 thing. So eye strain, we're all back staring at screens, and there's like so much research about like how our like eyes are adapting. Like I lost a lot of my sight like far away, and it could have just been age, but I also had my optometrist saying it could be also staring at screens when I got it tested. And one trick to counteract that, there's actually 2. You can go on long walks and just stare into the distance, but another thing I'm trying to work on, but I'm not great at it, is about every 20 minutes, stare about 20 feet away for 20 seconds. Because I get like dry eyes because when you're staring at a screen, you're not blinking. So, and it's just like a nice little set. So, just stare out there and it's good for your eye health. Because the last thing we don't want is unhealthy eyes. And I have chronic dry eyes. It can cause migraines, all that. And yeah, so try that.
Wow, I'm going to have to try that. How often? You said every 20 minutes?
Yeah, every 20, one of those ideal things, like ideally do this, but they say about every 20 minutes, 20 seconds, stare 20 feet. It's like one of those simple things, but honestly for me, just whenever I kind of move, I'm just like, oh yeah, just stare away from your screen for a second. Like I just try and like, anytime I reset, I'm like, just stare, put a little sticky. But it's just saying I'm more conscious. I won't lie, I don't have a timer on, but I'm just like, just try. And JJ, who works in the office with me, has a bunch of paintings and he stares at across from me. And I just like try and stare at JJ's paintings whenever I get a chance.
He's like, wow, she's really enamored by my painting.
He's like, she must love that one. I was like,
yeah. He's like, nailed it, different. Art decor.
Honestly, one day I'll show very quirky things on that wall.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, my last one is incorporate fall spices. This is my jam. You guys, I will always have any excuse to have cinnamon, nutmeg, and ginger. And also, they're all anti-inflammatory properties. So I, every single day without fail, have cinnamon in my coffee. And it just makes me feel better that it's anti-inflammatory. But in my, cabinet, I'm a big spice girl for, baking and things like that. And I always have cinnamon, nutmeg, and ginger. And when do I touch them? During fall. And I'll make nice little concoctions, pumpkin pancakes, incorporate all the fall spices and you'll just feel the best vibes ever.
Love the vibe. we're going to finish off with a few things for the audience. We had little submissions and some questions. First off, just number one was, love listening to you guys. Just finished my first 10K and saved this week's episode to help me finish. You guys are the best. Thank you for sharing. I couldn't remember if we said this or not last time, but even if not, just congrats on finishing
the
your first
last
10K.
gal was the marathon, I think.
That's what I thought. I thought it was the same one, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to read it. I'd rather read it twice than not at all. So I just want to say congrats on finishing your first 10K.
Woo woo, that's amazing. I love how there's just gals that are running and that we are their choice to entertain because we're podcast people. So it makes me happy that they're becoming podcast people because of this.
I know. And honestly, podcasting and running hand in hand. You got a lot of time in your own head. So rather just be our voices can be in your head rather than your own, because intrusive thoughts.
Always.
Then we have one, not a question, but I really enjoy listening to the pod every week, and defo my favorite podcast. So thank you so much. And then I'm sorry that this one is a question for me, so I feel really weird, but this was the one question we got. But for Keltie, and you can answer this too, I just don't know if you'll have an answer. Must visit spots in Sweden. I'm planning a trip there soon. So do you have any recommendations there for us?
How lovely, how nice of you to include me. Classic Canadian, being so nice. No, I don't know. This is a you question. I've never even been.
Right? Where do you have any? As I pull up my Google Maps, actually, here's an unbelievable tip in case if you have Google Maps, get it on your phone. Actually, anyone listening, this is any trip. So what I'm doing, go on Google Maps, get the app on your phone, and then in the bottom middle, they'll have like a little and you can make lists. And I add like any trip I'm going, I make a list for all the places I want to go to, and I add it, and then it puts little dots on your Google map. So wherever you are, you'll just see these little dots, be like, oh yeah, we have that place saved. So wherever you end up, you're like, oh, what's a close lunch place? Instead of running to another one, you're like, oh, this like random cafe I recommended is there. So that's my major tip for when you're traveling. So I'm trying to pull mine up right now. Wow. I'm on the wrong Gmail account. I was like, why is nothing saved? It all deleted. Dun, 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 dun. So sorry. It said favorite stock. I'm gonna say Swedish places. Ooh, this is best steak Meg's ever had. If you can get a reso in here, Restaurant AG. It's apparently like the top restaurants in the world, one of those ones. If you want a good time in Stockholm, Mr. French, a classic Stockholm place, you got to go. It's a little bougie, but Rishi, if you want a workout place, you got to go to the place. It's literally called The Place, Stockholm, great reformer. And then Stora Bageriet is my favorite cinnamon bun there. You got to get a cinnamon bun in Sweden. And then that was all I could quickly ramble off without boring everyone. But there's some spots you got to check out.
Wow, that's the Cinnabon place sounds amazing.
Swedish cinnamon buns. Actually, if you want to get heated, talk to a cinnamon bun and a Swede, because they don't do icing. They do these little sugar balls. And I love a Swedish cinnamon bun, but I love Swedish cinnamon buns in all form. But like, they think it's blasphemy that we put cream cheese on it. I'm like, you got to respect a cream cheese cinnamon bun too. They're both great. But
yeah, absolutely.
Me and Megs have had many heated debates. I'm like, I just love cinnamon buns in all forms. I don't discriminate against cinnamon buns.
Yeah. You're like, I won't turn one down no matter what type of sugar is on it.
Any form, cinnamon, sugar, bread, together in my mouth.
Absolutely.
Fall, it's seasonal. We talked about it. Seasonal. Cinnamon, fall spices. It's a health food.
Did you ever, this was a 90s, early 2000s thing, is make toast with butter and then pour cinnamon sugar on it?
I lived off that. Like, I kid you not, that was like my diet in the 90s. Like, before early morning swim practice, it was just, yeah, that was, or sometimes we'd get the cinnamon toast. Sometimes my mom would have leftovers from her work conferences and she'd bring home the bagels from Costco. And so it'd be cinnamon raisin bagels. And I put that with this butter and cinnamon and sugar. That was my diet. So good.
We were just eating straight up cane sugar and loving our lives.
And cinnamon, it's such a good combo.
It's so good.
Underrated.
My cinnamon is like almost out because of like how much I go through it per day.
I'm proud. Mm-hmm. You're going to live forever because it's a health product, right?
Right?
There's antioxidants, all that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Perfect.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. Don't forget to leave us a review. Give us 5 stars if you want. Check us out on YouTube and Instagram, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.